Thank you, brother, for coming for this interview. And I will ask you first to introduce yourself so our audience will get to know you.
Thank you, Brother Rashid, for having me. My name is Arman Khan. I'm the founding partner of AK Law Offices. I primarily practice immigration, family, and real estate law. I'm grateful for this opportunity, which is to show solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Jaramallah, Faisalabad, Pakistan, and to condemn this violent attack. Um, Disclaimer, just a quick note that I'm not here to speak about any particular religion or sect, irrespective of race, religion, color. This is a basic human rights issue. And as a lawyer, I'm here to promote fundamental rights, right to peaceful assembly, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Over to you.
First, I just want to know what happened exactly. What triggered the events, the last events in Pakistan?
So, Brother Rashid, on 16th August, um, based on an accusation, this is not a charge, this is not an investigation report, just on an accusation that two young Christian boys, they committed uh, blasphemy, which is uh, hatred against their holy prophet uh,
Mm,
and their holy Quran book. And then there were this incitement to violence from the local clerics. Uh, for a couple of hours, the streets were blocked. They were, encouraging other people to gather in the mosques. And eventually, when the mob started coming, we could see the police, the local law enforcement agencies, they were just clueless.
mm,
They didn't really stop them. And one after one, we saw over 20 churches were burned down to ground. Over 200 houses were demolished.
mm,
Even our burial place, Christian burial place, was desecrated.
mm.
And cannot really quantify the damages uh, to, to emotional and intellectual being of our brothers and sisters over there.
Okay. And how many churches they were destroyed or burned?
So far, what we've seen from the initial reports from Open Doors, Advocacy International, and local grounds, I believe over 22 small, non-different denominational churches, the
Mm,
main Catholic, Salvation Army, three of the Presbyterian churches. My family and friends, they have their own Christian, NGOs and churches in Pakistan. Three of our churches were burned. So altogether, we believe there were over 20 churches.
So these accusations, they were not real thing. It didn't happen. Unfounded accusations, to my knowledge. Is that true, or somebody really from the Christian community tried to burn the Quran or do something to the Quran?
So that's true. There were no actual physical evidence of the desecration or blasphemy. These were just mere accusations.
Mm,
And you'll be surprised to know that since 1967 to 2014, over 1,300 people were accused of blasphemy.
mm,
And since 1987 to 2022, there have been over close to 2,000 people who were charged under blasphemy law. None were proven in the court of law. I repeat, zero cases were proven in the Supreme Court of Pakistan. Most of them were
mm.
acquitted in the Supreme Court, but unfortunately, hundreds of people were either uh, gunned down, killed, burned, or they were the target of vigilantism, mob justice.
So when the authorities, I'm sure I heard reports that mullahs were shouting in the mosque, they were gathering people, inciting them to go do violence. I'm sure the authorities were aware of this before it happened. The question that everybody's asking, why they didn't prevent it from happening?
This is a very valid question, and this is a very troubling question when we ask as human beings that where is the writ of the state?
Mm,
Constitution of Pakistan grants equal rights. And not only the Constitution of Pakistan, the law of the land, any decent democratic society would give you equal protection under law. There were these calls to protest, there were these calls to give punishment to these, people, but just like you, we're all asking, why not give them a fair chance
mm,
under the law? Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. That's the
true.
basic notion of criminal law.
Yeah.
You have to have either mens rea and actus rea, the intent and the act itself, and the concurrence to commit a crime. Without the investigation, no one can be allowed to be the judge, jury, and the executioner. Unfortunately, in this incident, our law enforcement agencies were just the silent spectators. They could not stop this mob justice, and this is not an isolated incident, Rashid.
Mm,
This has been a systematic attack on a long history. We can see starting from Shantinagar, starting in 1990s. We've seen these incidents now take place every 2 or 3 years. We had Godhra, we had the incident in Peshawar, we had the incident in Badami Bagh, Lahore,
mm,
and we had the incident in Sangla Hill. And mind you, in between, there were hundreds of incidents on individuals. Name it
yeah.
Asia Bibi, name it Rimsha Masih,
Yeah.
and there's so many incidents where people are so afraid to come out, so they
Mm,
go undocumented. They're not reported, right?
yeah.
So this is a very sad and sorry state of affairs.
So I heard now the authorities are compensating people who lost their homes or their churches. They are giving certain thousands of dollars to those people, and also they arrested around 130 people. Is that accurate?
So far, the authorities are trying to do a damage control.
Mm,
This thing should not happen in the first place, as we said.
yeah.
Uh, it's too little, too late.
Mm,
20 lakh rupees, which is equivalent to approximately 6 or 7,000 US dollars. Uh, they've been handed to few victims, but there's a long list of victims.
mm,
They've promised to restore, repair the churches, but it will take time. Uh, what needs to be done at a macro level is that we should not have these incidents in the first place.
yeah.
We demand these draconian laws, which were um, uh, promoted by a dictator, Ziaul Haq, military dictator, to curb on Christian minorities, uh, if not repealed, but at least the implementation and enforcement of these laws should be fair and valid. The
Mm,
onus, burden of proof, should be on the accuser, not the victim, not the
yeah.
defendant.
Yeah.
And if the accusation is false, they should be charged under the same penalty. We have 295C, which is a controversial law, and the penalty is death punishment
Yeah.
or life imprisonment. That law should be, it's high time to review that law.
Mm,
Also, at a macro level, we need to ensure there's tolerance in our education syllabus. What these people are taught at a school level, public school level, should be revised. It's high time that we encourage diversity, we encourage respect, we encourage tolerance of views and opinions. But on a micro level,
Yeah.
we also want, there's so many things. We want to ensure that they're restored, they're rehabilitated, their homes, uh, their fans were burnt, the chemicals used were terrible. We want them, to give them basic dignity and give them the confidence back so that they can peacefully go back to their places.
When I'm studying the situation in Pakistan, I see a decline in the number of Christians recently. Is it because of these incidents that happen every time Christians are a target either of suicidal bombs or persecution or blasphemy laws? So the wealthy among them are leaving the country. And only the poor who cannot afford traveling abroad, they are staying there. Is that a true statement?
Absolutely, Brother Rashid. You're right on the dot. 1947, when the Britishers left, we were colonized by British, India, and Pakistan. When they left, we had approximately 12% uh, of the minority of the total
Mm,
population. Right now, according to the latest census, our population is approximately 240 million, and only 1.8% of the Christian minorities are left. So
mm,
when you do not give them equal rights, when they're considered second-class citizens, when the Constitution itself discriminates between majority Muslims and minorities, where you cannot uphold the highest office of president or prime minister in Pakistan, you're
mm.
barred to be hold the highest office in military or at provincial level. This is a prima facie blatant discrimination.
Yeah.
And when these persecution happens and you're not, meting exemplary punishments to these criminals, what kind of, message you're portraying?
Mm,
Oftentimes, uh, you know, they'll catch these initial people, mob, and after some political or legal pressure from the religious, organizations, they'll just give them perhaps a slap on the wrist and they'll go scotch free, right?
yeah.
This time around, we want to make sure that these people who are behind these heinous crimes must be given exemplary punishment, so no one dares next time uh, even think of desecrating minorities or our holy books or holy places.
So, you think blasphemy laws will be removed sooner or later?
Well, this is if I live in a utopia, in a perfect world, uh, then I would think the blasphemy laws will be repealed. But I'm also pragmatic because, mind you, our own Muslim governor, Salman Taseer, was shot down
Yeah,
because he was in the opinion of repealing these blasphemy laws. Our minority ministers, Mr. Shahbaz Bhatti, was
was
gunned
killed too.
down by Islamic fundamentalist because he was also trying to speak up against the blasphemy law. What I, as a lawyer, I'm not suggesting to repeal blasphemy law. What I'm trying to say is no law is prima facie bad or good as it's written. It's the use of the law that makes the law rightful or unrightful, reasonable or unreasonable.
I
So
see.
let's hope and pray that one day we'll have courage as a society to review, introspect, and see what this law has achieved. Most of the times, it's used to settle personal scores.
Yeah.
It's never been used against the majority.
Yes. One last question. How can we help if somebody's watching? How can we help to make awareness about what's happening in Pakistan? To be honest, myself and many others around me, we didn't know anything about Christians in Pakistan. Actually, we thought probably they are just few hundreds or few thousands. We didn't know that their numbers are over 2.5 million.
Right. So if anyone wants to help, Brother Rashid, they can directly appeal to their local MPs, write to their legislators to put some pressure on these states, developing nations, to respect human rights, respect minority rights. Obviously, if you want to financially help them, there are some good NGOs, some good organizations, non-profit organizations that are helping on the ground. Please ensure that they're accountable, they're transparent, right? And if you want to peacefully, raise your voice, please join your local, groups where you can hold peaceful protests, candlelight vigils, and obviously write to United Nations on an international level that any financial aid should be contingent upon respecting human rights. We're not just saying it's the Christian groups, Christian minorities in Pakistan, any minority groups.
Yeah.
We're going to ensure that they have right to peaceful, assembly and freedom of expression and speech.
Well, thank you, brother, for coming, and let's stay in touch. And we pray that this situation will get better for our Christian brothers and sisters in Pakistan. Hopefully, we'll see you in the future.
Well, bundle of thanks once again for having me, so that we can shed some light on the plight of marginalized and persecuted Christians. Stay safe and stay blessed.
Thank you. God bless you.